Hi everybody, today I'll present my paper
On
teaching environmental ethics with the movie titled Fünf Freunde, Five Friends, and the novel titled Five on Kirrin Island Again by Enid Blyton. In this study, the German movie titled Fünf Freunde, Five Friends, and the British novel titled Five on Kirrin Island Again by Enid Blyton that inspired the movie will be compared in relation to technological changes over the course of time for the protection of the environment against climate change in terms of environmental ethics. Accordingly, the following will be analyzed eco-ethically. A. The replacement of coal, coke, and oil with water or any other energy providers. B. Dog psychology for environmental protection. C. Bird migrations. And D. The concept of nature as a shelter for psychological relief and against dangers. Two different locations and time periods will be discussed since the movie depicts a
German
town in 2012, whereas the novel a British town in 1947. Therefore, the unethical behavior of corrupt people trying to steal an eco-friendly research project, the ethical boundaries of the research on the use of a simple alternative energy resource instead of petroleum, coke and coal, and humans' behavior towards dogs and birds as animals as well as towards pure nature will be discussed together with the dire effects of climate change that may occur without ethical preventive measures. As a result, an environmental ethical literature education theory will be constructed by analyzing the importance of the use of alternative cheap and eco-friendly energies instead of petroleum, coke and coal from a historical point of view. Thus, as opposed to the science and technology depicted as tools used by humans to destroy the earth by white, eco-ethical science and technology can be the tools used to develop methods and systems to protect the environment and various species, according to Blyton. This study will show that Leopold wrote A Sand County Almanac and sketches here and there for suggesting a land ethic, but Blyton referred to land and nature ethics 2 years before him, and her ethical views are still valid in the 2000s for the protection of the whole earth and species, just like those of Holmes Rolston III, who regarded the protection of species as a moral mission, and of Stone, who suggested that natural objects should have had the same legal rights as those of the corporations. This study questions the differences and similarities between the eco-ethical views of Blyton and Leopold and their representation in a German movie titled Fünf Freunde, Five Friends. But who was Enid Blyton? She was born in 1897 and she died in 1968. She was a British female author and poet who worked as a teacher and wrote various children's books inspired by the rural places where she lived. She had many pets when she grew up. But who is Aldo Leopold? He was born in Burlington, Iowa in 1887. He passed away in 1948. He studied forestry at Yale University. He earned his master's degree in 1909 and he worked for the U.S. Forest Service. He used to be the assistant director and then the associate director of the U.S. Forest Products Laboratory in Madison, Wisconsin. He served as the chair of game management and then as the chair of wildlife management at the University of Wisconsin. He wrote A Sand County Almanac and sketches here and there that appeared in 1949. Let's compare the movie to the book. Both have the same theme. Her mom gave George, the protagonist, the island known as Kirrin Island. A castle exists there and rabbits gulls and jackdaws enrich its exotic nature. Underground dungeons exist there. The other heroes include Anne and Anne's brothers Julian and Dick. Timmy is George's dog. Mrs. Fanny, George's mother, explains that her father needs to work in silence to make a good invention. He will work in a tower on the island. Timmy loves to behave like a boy. In the book, one day, they all visit Uncle Quentin, George's father. The very next day, they return. This isn't clear in the movie, though. Both in the movie and the book, there is the sun, the blue sea, and the island as natural as tunnel, and the policemen find them for reporting unnecessary issues for this reason, because they are corrupt. They meet a government agent. They follow this spy, see that he stays in room 23 in a hotel, and push the emergency button for searching for his files. They take their photos with their cell phones. Timmy tries to trick the government agent with a tree branch. They escape from the toilet window. George shows them her secret ship. The spies find them there. They find a code and try to find the owner, who tries to harm George's father by gathering signatures and trying to
decipher
them with a computer program. They campaign, deliver pizza or cargo packages, and check the hotel visitor lists. They doubt about the tourists, observing bird migrations. They find a notebook by a ship. Timmy gets the notebook. Later, Timmy brings George the fine she throws. She understands that the two policemen try to steal the work of George's father. Her friends were leaving one day, but they stop to save their uncle when they see Timmy running behind their bus because George has been caught. The corrupt policeman threatened the father with a bomb. Timmy stops the bus and takes the kids to the tower. They imprison the police and make them get arrested. The policemen throw the computer into an aquarium. The kids catch the disc involving the project. Timmy brings the father the disc. The government agent catches the policeman. In the book, we see a sea guard making a windmill for his grandson. He has a telescope. He is trying to
decipher
George's father's project. In the book, these kids befriend Martin, a 16-year-old boy who is good at drawing. He and his guardian, Mr. Curtin, are members of a gang trying to steal the new energy resources formula for becoming rich. In the movie, two police officers and a woman try to steal the formula instead. In the book, North England is where these events occur. In the movie, we see a German town because there is the sign Polizei, police. In the book, the children watch the TV at Mr. Curtin's home. This is the technology of that time. He has a radio transmitter. In the movie, they use cell phones and they have a computer. There is a wireless receiver and transmitter. A wireless receiver and transmitter is crucial because they are trying to
decipher
the project as corrupt people trying to become rich by stealing an important environmental project. In the book, Johnson and Peters are arrested. In the movie, Timmy's attitude towards a robot dog is a metaphor for the importance of nature full of creatures who have spirits. And all the creatures form a team in this, because there must be some economic benefits for using water instead of fossil fuels. But how? Water hasn't got any economic value that leads to global crisis, but oil, coke, and coal cost a lot. Water is cheap. Regarding plants, flowers are community concepts that are all around. According to Leopold, preserving the beauty of the farm landscape is crucial. In the work, we see farmers. They are ecologically conscient humans. Natural objects that keep humans healthy physically and psychologically are crucial. They must be raised. Besides, here is the substitute. Every living thing needs oxygen. Humans need to breathe to survive. Regarding animals, they appear as community concepts. As a dog, Timmy is a good investigator. Also a mouse that thwarts the corrupt police protected. If we consider that Timmy is a clever dog, helping the good people against the evil, corrupt ones. Birds contribute to the prevention of climate change. Jackdaws are crucial as birds. Fish are crucial. Timmy went down through a rabbit hole. George found a secret way digging a hole. Then Timmy is helping humans via his intelligence and instincts. Besides, in the book, the father wanted Timmy as a companion, as a guard. Emotions and animals are crucial. We see that a mouse can save a human being from an evil human being by making noise. Timmy's tail is straight as he encounters Martin in the book. Animals have emotions. The sea is important as it provides all the creatures with water. The sun is important as it provides all the creatures with vitamin D, heat, and energy. The land is crucial for the survival of all the creatures. The island is a symbol for good human beings who must survive, and it is a symbol for a good project for the protection of the environment, as the island is a base where the protection of the whole earth is established. Rain is a symbol for difficulties and happiness through abundance. Julian said he really liked the feel of the wind and rain buffeting against his face. Rain is useful. Water is important. Water may be a tool for creating natural energy instead of coal, coke, and petroleum, as suggested by Blyton. Uncle Quentin could flash if and only if the weather is sunny, when he is secure. Sometimes the weather may be harsh, but the sun is a symbol for hope. And the air. When the air is fresh, every creature is happy. Primroses, gorses, and sea salt. These are the metaphors for happiness. And likes picking flowers. Although this isn't appreciated, it should be regarded as normal, as flowers may die in the winter. Therefore, Anne gathers them to organize a beautiful environment at home that will remind her of the importance of nature. Quarry primroses and violets are important, and they symbolize the importance of nature that provides humans with lots of beautiful objects that refresh the air so that the humans can breathe easily. To conclude, Blyton's work teaches that we need a land ethic respecting all the creatures, as Timmy helps good human beings against corrupt people. And we need water and the sun to survive, just like the other creatures. Therefore, a land ethic is necessary together with a water ethic. Therefore, according to Leopold, plants absorb energy from the sun through a circuit called the biota, which may be represented by a pyramid consisting of layers. The bottom layer is the soil. A plant layer rests on the soil, an insect layer on the plants, a bird and rodent layer on the insects, and so on, up through various animal groups to the apex layer, which consists of the larger carnivores. Then we wish for the victory of the good people against the evil ones. And accordingly, we need the protection of the environment through natural energy resources, as Blyton's work shows. Here is a pyramid related to water and ethics. Life is based on food and water and their healthiness. Then the sun is necessary for the soil. As well, water is necessary for the soil so that plants can grow. Also, all the creatures need to drink water to survive. They need food to survive. They need the sun to survive. Plants, sun, and rain are crucial for the survival of the team of the living things. In Blyton's work, we see the necessity of water and land ethics. The forest must be protected for all the creatures, as they provide fresh air. Water consumption is important. One must protect the water from being polluted. global warming prevention measures should be taken. The message of the five friends is the following. Humans are the members of a biotic family. Animals are guides to humans. Environmental ethics shouldn't be based on economic structures in this community. All the creatures have the rights to a clean environment, a secure shelter, some healthy foods, and some pure water. Research on eco-friendly energy solutions should be conducted for contributing to the survival of all the creatures, but not for devastating the earth for economical reasons. In Blyton's work, we see that the soil is a blessing for all the creatures because it provides them with food and lots of energy resources. Also, their soil under the sea, the sand. Then, according to Leopold, land then is not merely soil. It is a fountain of energy flowing through a circuit of soils, plants, and animals. Water or the sun can be energy resources instead of petroleum. According to Leopold, there is always a net loss by downhill wash, but this is normally small and offset by the decay of rocks. It is deposited in the ocean and in the course of geological time raised to form new lands and new pyramids. These sentences remind us of Kirrin Island. According to Stone, infanticide and sinicide aren't rights. However, all the creatures must be equal before the law. Trusts, corporations, or nation-states are inanimate objects that hold rights. Therefore, natural objects such as trees, plants, and animals must have legal rights. The expulsion of Jews in the 13th century and the declaration of Chinese as no right holders by a Californian court in the 19th century show that humans discriminate against others due to their racism. However, all the creatures form the same biotic community. As well, the humans must protect the animals and the plants legally. Also, Blyton's work implies this. The legal, operational, and psychic and socio-psychic aspects suggested by Stone encourage us to protect the environment. For instance, several damages on the use of water affect the human being's health and it leads to legal cases. Pollution can have legal consequences, but humans' economic benefits operate in the decisions. The highest court of Pennsylvania was unwilling to terminate a coal company's waste to pollute Lackawanna River with mine water. However, every creature must be protected, and their rights to life must be defended in courts. There are several acts protecting the rights of humans for a clean environment. Michigan Environmental Protection Act and National Environmental Policy Act. Pollution may harm human beings, and for this reason acts are taken. However, all the creatures must be protected legally. Also, Blyton's work shows us this. Timmy must have rights as an animal. Also, a mouse must have rights to life because he exists somehow. Also, the birds must have rights to life as they prevent climate change somehow. Also, the flowers must have rights to life. They provide oxygen to all the creatures in this world. According to Rolston, ecological morality is equal to a mutual benefit for all. One should take into account the intrinsic value of every ecobiotic component, as in animal rights. Altruistic modes to protect the environment are needed. All the species should be considered as members of the same team. White suggests that Bacon led to a belief in nature's devastation by technological tools in the 18th century. However, St. Francis of Assisi appreciated all the creatures. She posits that brother ant, sister fire, and brother man praise the Creator similarly. Living and non-living things praise God in a panpsychic manner. The Five Friends teach that energy resources other than coal, coke, and oil shall be used. Dogs assist humans as friends. Bird migrations can be close to the effects of climate change, and nature is a shelter for psychological relief and against dangers. Technology should serve nature. As technological developments are inevitable, they can be less harmful for nature via uses of natural energy resources, without harming the earth, such as sunlight, water, and wind. All the creatures contribute to the earth as a team, just like the five friends, 2 boys, 2 girls, and a dog. The children's books and their movie versions should be used together for teaching children the importance of the creation of alternative energy resources. Besides, coding courses may help them develop eco-friendly technologies in the future. Here are my references. I thank you. If you have any questions, email me.